So I got this story from when we first moved over from Louisiana over to Texas, over in Dallas area, and seems to be quite hilarious to some. So I thought I'd maybe go ahead and tell you guys. So I bought this old '63 Chevy pickup as the first little hot rod that I had. Knew nothing about working on cars, nothing at all. Me and my brother figured that this is what we're going to learn on, and it's exactly what we learned on. And so anyway. One day it kind of created a tick. So asking a bunch of people, you know how people are when they're 17, 18 years old, they don't know a lot about cars. They ask everybody, hey, what's the sound? What's the sound? What's the sound? I got it all the way from turn up the radio to don't drive anymore. So we got this buddy of mine that I used to work with, and man, he was so smart about cars. Man, he could tell me about a combination that he's going to build, and it was going to produce this much power. I was so impressed with how much this guy knew about cars and working on cars and engines, and man, I was just so impressed. So, hey man, he's the first guy I call. I was like, hey man, can you come over and help me out? I need to adjust valves on my truck. He's like, yeah, sure man, you can come on over. And he's coming over there, and it didn't take very long at all. And he was just like the rest of us, bench racing, you know, trying to play the bluff. Well, none of us knew nothing, man. So I was like, tell you what, before we get started, I'm going to call my buddy over in Shreveport. So I get on the phone, I call my buddy over there, Paul. Say, hey, man, here's what's going on. I give him the rundown. He's like, okay, call me back if you need me. Here's step one, right? So I walk out there, and I'm like all excited. Hey, man, Paul gave me some great information. I walk outside, and my intake and distributor and plug wires are all out in the front yard. I walk in, I'm like, do you know how to put that back together? He's like, no, you do that, right? And I'm like, no. He's like, dude, I don't know. Problem number one. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, you don't pull the intake off to adjust valves. So I turn back around, go make another long distance phone call to my buddy Paul. So I get on the phone with him. He's telling me what to do, get it all back together. It wasn't the intake being put back on that was a problem. It was stabbing the distributor. Never done that before. Never even seen it done. Had no idea. So walked right up the street. There used to be a Napa auto store right around the corner from my house. Walked up there, bought some gaskets, and bought me some silicone. Nice red one. Yeah, red must be good. It looks hot. So, go back to the house and squeeze that little tube all around. Got a real good thick bead. Slap those gaskets on really, really good all the way around. Take my red silicone, go back around on the intake, all the way around. So I've got red silicone on both sides of my gasket. If a little bit is good, a lot is better. Put that intake on there and get it all bolted down. Go stab the distributor, it won't go all the way down. It's like, why won't it go down? Back in the house, call my buddy Paul Persinger. He's like, all right, so there's a shaft down there that has a groove in it for the distributors fit in. Oh, he goes, yeah, you have to get it lined up with that. Oh, okay, got it. No more questions. Got it. No more. No. Gotta go. Go out there. We look down there. Put it in. I'm like, well, put it in. Okay. Oh, there it is. Falls right in. Do the firing order right on up there. No problem. Go to start it. They ain't starting. Just over and over and over and over. It's like, so I was like, he said something about, I know that the rotor is supposed to be point number one. So try to do it like that, put it down, it ain't going. Look down in there, man, pull the intake all the way back off, turn it. Now I gotta go buy more gaskets. Go up there, buy some more gaskets. We did this, man, I bet 2 to 3 times every day for 4, 5, 6 days. And I was like, man, I'm just about done with this. So I go back and call Paul. I was like, man, there's got to be an easier way to do this, man. I keep having to buy new intake gaskets. He's like, why are you buying intake gaskets? I'm like, man, I put the silicone on it, put it all on there, and the distributor won't go down all the way. He's like, you take a long screwdriver and you turn it and get the gear to where it's lined, or the little shaft where it lines up. A long screwdriver, huh? Wow. Smart. So, that saved me a lot more money. No more buying gaskets. So, we go into that. I'd already pulled the intake off, and I'm about fed up. I go do it again. We go put the intake down. You know, this time it's just me and my brother. Our other buddy, he's not there on this day. And I'm like, you know, man, I'm just tired of this little deal. We'll try it Paul's way. We got it all in there. Told my brother, hey, man, tell you what, before we go and bolt this intake down, let me try to start it first. It was an old Holly Street Dominator intake. If you've ever had to bolt down one of those old school single plane intakes with a regular bolt head, it takes forever. You have to use header bolts, which is a great way. That's what we used anyway. And so you just barely move it, barely move it, barely move it. Yeah, I mean, just to do those 4 center holes, I guarantee you, and it took us anyway 30 minutes just to get those done. I was so tired of messing with this. So I'm like, Mike, look, man, let's try to bump it over. Let's try to get it started. If it starts, okay, it's not going to run right, but then we'll go back and bolt down the intake. So I go in there to go crank up the truck. My brother reaches on. This is an old truck, and we're short. So he reaches across. He's 15 years old. He's reaching across the truck. He's up on there. He's all mounted up. Got on the distributor. He's going to turn it as I'm trying to start it. I go to fire it off, and the truck tried to start. Well, the problem of that's going to be it didn't do a good start. It backfired. I'm inside the truck, hood's up, and there's a little line there of open gap between the hood and the cowl and the windshield. Fire come up through that, up the windshield, come around, engulfed the hood. Could not see anything past the hood. I'm like, oh my God, my brother, man. You know, I jump out of the truck. My brother is probably 10 feet out in front of the truck, on his back, scared out of his mind. He's looking down this carburetor to see the flames completely surround his face and head. I mean, there was so much fire from that backfire. My poor brother, he gets up, eyebrows almost gone. All of his bangs were singed. That was probably the cleanest his face had looked in years, because at that point where he had a little peach fuzz, we both did. Clean. And that poor guy had to go to school. Oh man, it was horrible. That was the day I almost lost my brother. Man, singed him, his hair. Oh man. That was the first real experience that me and my brother had working on cars. Bolt the intake down before trying to start it. Yeah, this is also why men don't live longer than women. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. If you know about me and my brother, obviously we still made it. another 32 years. But we somehow we haven't killed ourselves trying to learn to work on cars. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. I'll try to do more. Thanks. We'll see you.